you sign in the list.
All right. Vanessa Lago?
Laurel.
I'm guessing it's you because I'm only Vanessa.
I didn't realize I'd be so soon here.
Sorry.
That's all right. So I guess I'm here this evening, one, because I have recently been introduced to MTN for the past few months and inquired about board membership and kind of wanted to get a feel for what that's all about. Since your meetings are open to the public, I thought I'd hear it. And then also I have some concerns with what I've been seeing on Facebook regarding an incident with Hamel, and was curious if MTN or the board had any comments about that. It sounds like he's been kind of banned from the premises, and if that's something that is a common occurrence that happens here at MTN, why that happens, you know, what brings that about. I know that this is a free speech organization, and so I guess that's kind of where I'm getting at. I'm just curious if what's going on this end, if you can comment on that, and like who else in the past has been banned from the premises and why, and you know what brings that kind of action about.
As far as we're not going to speak on any incident in particular to answer your question,
okay,
because that would be inappropriate. But to answer your questions and incidences where that has happened, it takes more than just speech to get you banned.
Sure. That would be contradictory to what your mission is.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Incidents that get you actually banned, more than likely we've had to either go to legal measures, or things in the incidents itself arose to an unacceptable levels that go further than just conversating. So without
if I
speaking
can
on
interject a little bit, when we get to, I'm going to give the executive director report. I will touch on a little bit, not the specific incident, but a little bit about the history of what's been happening here over the last couple of years that has precipitated some of the changes that we have. So I'll address some of that.
Okay, right. Yeah, because what I understand is in the past couple of years, last few years, there have been some major kind of overall.
Yeah, we had a huge organizational change in 2017. So there's new rules that have kind of come into play, and because of some of the incidents that we've dealt with as an organization, there's new processes that are in place.
Okay, and are those processes been listed somewhere, or
Bylaws.
in the bylaws? Okay.
Yeah, so we have internal processes for day-to-day operations, and then we have the board bylaws. So a lot of the stuff that we do here internally is in our handbook.
Okay.
So for members.
Okay, so for any members, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we do have our mission that we're trying to accomplish, and obviously if somebody becomes such a proud that interferes with that mission.
So it's generally it's not a one specific kind of incident that.
No. Well, I mean, it could be like if somebody killed somebody. I wouldn't
So
mind that.
killing is not allowed.
Yes.
Okay, that'll get me banned. Okay, got it.
I mean, I'm relative to new. I don't think it's happened much, or is this the first?
We've had a couple.
Okay.
There's been a few incidents. That's
Part of dealing with the.
Well,
It
you
is.
try to keep your doors wide open as possible, but sometimes that lets people in that cause trouble because that's just how life is.
Okay.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah, thank
Okay.
you.
All right, next on the list, because I can't see anyone. Brother Wayne?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's you. Oh, it's you. Okay.
I did not see, well, I don't play on Facebook much, so I didn't see what comments were being made on Facebook. But what I do know is I was here with the previous group that ran the facility, and I'm here with the new group that runs the facility. And from what I've witnessed and seen, it's a big, huge change and the positive for me. And for our organization and for many other people who use this place, one, it's nicer, it's cleaner, and it's just, it's more organized than what it used to be. And those are the three things that make it function more. It makes it function a lot better than what it used to function as. A phone call when I first started coming here was a very, very difficult thing to get past. And just to find out information was really hard. So at any given time now, it's easier now to navigate the system and the process with memberships and stuff like that.
If I could just ask, the period you're referring to as before, was that like?
Before Valerie and Troy came in.
Right, but just like a couple years before? I mean, there's like kind of a long history of MTN. I don't want to denigrate people. You know,
Well,
but
before
they're a good
Valerie
job.
was the executive director. And I don't remember who the person was that was before her, but I know that they were friends with my director at my organization, and that's why our organization got a membership here. And now we utilize the equipment on a weekly basis at the camera.
Checkout is due.
Yeah. We utilize the equipment and film sometimes on site, and I think we have something coming up here in the next week or so. Yeah. But I like the changes that I've seen, that I've witnessed. More of a community feeling, more camaraderie here than it was before Troy took over.
All right, well, thank you. Next we have Stuart Devon.
Yeah, I have a long history with MTN actually. So I own a company called Implex, and we stream all three of your channels live onto the internet. We have for 10 years now, I think, a long time. I also took over a recent position as director at MCN 6. We've rebranded it Minnesota's Community Network. I'm here to say how impressed I am with the job that Val and Troy are doing. When I look at the technology and how it's evolving to an IP type technology, what they've done with the Sling Studios and the Mevos and stuff like that is very, very right on as far as the direction that the technology to support the community needs to go. And it's something we're doing at MCN 6 as well to transition into that. They were kind enough to loan a system to me for a week to evaluate, and I'm just here to say I think the direction that they're taking MTN is a very good direction.
I think so too. Thank you. Are you RA members?
Excuse me?
RA.
Oh, okay, there you go. Thank you. Yeah, 3 minutes. Thank you for the time. Last time I was here was 2 years ago. I did not know if this organization was going to survive, but you have. And much of it is owed to the excellence of leadership in this law. And if not for her tenaciousness, planning, vision, and etc., I don't think that MTN would be here. I've been affiliated with this family for 30 years. I've had a program here for 28 years, uninterrupted. Very proud of that because probably 4 or 5 years into my tenure sitting in the chair, I thought that I'd be doing this maybe for another year and be on my way. I never thought that I'd be approaching 30 years. It was a pleasure working here. It was a pleasure working with Ms. Lockhart. It was a pleasure working with her support staff. As this gentleman just said, there's been a tremendous change. It's for the best. And during this period of turmoil in America, we need this freedom of expression more than any time in our history. It's my pleasure. I will continue to work hard to make sure that this is the most quality operation in the United States. Again, my friend, Ms. Lockhart, job well done. Thank you.
And I just wanted to say this to you, Ms. Lockhart. You have done an excellent job. Matter of fact, when you had me playing piano around Christmas time,
That was fun.
that was one of the most joyful
That was
times.
fun.
And stuff, you know, and a lot of people, they have a tendency to think that we aren't growing. But we've grown tremendously under your leadership. Since you've been here, this place has it's transcended. You know, we got music, we have robot things that stuff. So you've done an excellent job, and I'm proud to say that you're my friend.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Fair, did you have any comments? Unless everybody else spoke. You don't have to. Okay. All right then. I think that takes care of public commentaries. Since everybody got a chance. We will then move on to. There it is. We'll move on to the executive director update.
Okay. I need some notes because there's kind of a lot to talk about. So we were asked to live stream this meeting, which we don't typically do, but we were asked to do that. And so I wanted to take an opportunity to kind of just address like what has happened over the last couple of years and why the changes that we've had. Troy and I, when we came in here, we decided to intentionally shift our organizational focus to partnerships with media interns and elders. So this organization had a lot of legal issues when we came on, and so we were able to fix that and get things righted with the state and with the Attorney General's office and get reinstated as a new organization when the last one kind of fell apart. So we went forward with the focus on partnering with, like I said, media interns and elders, which means that we have to be more cognizant of the safety in our space. So those partnerships come with agreements that we're going to be good stewards of the people that are here and keep them protected. So whenever we have an intern come in from college, we have to provide space that's safe for them. When we have an elder come in from Eastside Neighborhood Services, we have to provide safe space for them to work here and to learn here. So over the last couple of years, we've been dealing with extortion attempts, theft, extreme defamation of myself, Troy, the whole organization. It's been pretty bad. Yeah. And so we have to do whatever we can to protect the people that come here and use the facility. Badge access has just been installed for members. So every active member will have a badge to get into the space. And Nate and I are working on the list of members who will have the access and getting the cards programmed. So that's the next step. Ambassadors are going to have a little bit of extended access, but that is still yet to be determined on what the parameters of that are. But we'll still have our public hours for orientations and events and that kind of stuff. But we did just implement a sign-in, like a check-in system, because, well, I'll get to that. We installed the reception desk. Chris is starting training on the new check-in system, and we developed documentation on what to do in case of emergency. That's another part of our partnerships with some of these organizations, that when we have people here, they need to be, they need to know what like the emergency procedures are. So we finally have documentation on that. And that all combined with our relationship with the local community officers and the badges, that all helps make us compliant with emergency response best practices. So now, instead of we don't know who's on the premises or who's here working, if something were to happen, we would have a list of who was in the building if there was an emergency. So that has all been updated. So I'll give you guys copies of this just so you know what the safety instructions are. So on to better fun stuff. Last Thursday was the first day for one of our new high school interns. He's going to be in the studios assisting on productions and learning the equipment.
How old is he?
He is a senior this year, so I think he's like 17. Yep. We also just interviewed another lady from the Eastside program who's probably going to be starting soon, doing her training here. I am engaging a longtime MTN member and collaborator, Deanna. I don't know if you guys know Deanna Smith. She's going to be coming in and helping us look for and apply for applicable grants. Tomorrow, Marcos starts his first day contracting. He has been providing editing training for people, but now he'll be providing more in-studio assistance to the Eastside partners and members with their productions. We had a really good site visit today with MCAD. We've been invited to be their first workplace partner highlighted. They're doing a thing where they offer up a table over the lunch period and have people come and talk and figure out what internships look like and memberships, any other promotions we want to do there. And they are excited about talking about further partnerships. Our event at Augsburg went really, really well, so thank you again for setting that up and having us meet with them. It was a good event, and it was good outreach for us and good content for our channels. So yeah, it was like the perfect setup. This Saturday we'll have cameras out at the Juneteenth event at Bethune. I think it's Bethune Park. And then next week, Tuesday night is the Northeast Parade, and Thursday is the Turtle Derby with Fairview. So we'll be out live streaming those. Next
Thursday.
Yes.
I can know about this.
Yes.
Are we streaming that pretty good?
We're gonna use YouTube.
Oh, okay.
They scrapped all of the, what do you call it, the talk back between, like, they cut way back on their thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I didn't know about that. Okay.
Let's see. Step Up, next week is also our Step Up interns first week. So that's another partnership that we have going. She's gonna be doing some social media, hopefully. If things don't calm down on social media, I'm not gonna subject her to that stuff. But hopefully doing social media and production training for the Open Streets events. And those kick off at the end of July. So we'll be closed the weekend of July 4th, 5th, and 6th for the holiday, and then our next board meeting is July 8th at 6. So that's kind of the gist of what I have over this last month. So, and the next one.
Any questions for Val?
It's summertime, so we're amping up for lots of out in the community.
When is the first Open Streets?
July 21st, and it's on Lake and Minnehaha. Yep. And John's not here tonight, but he actually has us partnering, I think, with one of the businesses along the route. So we'll be parked in front of their space, and we're trying to work out how it's going to work, but there may be a donation split. They're an ice cream shop, so they will maybe donate some of their sales of the day to us. So that's still in the works.
We'll have a meeting before that. So
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping to have more of that solidified by the next meeting.
Any other questions for Al? For him? All right. I guess that's the end of the public portion. Anybody else have anything they wanted to ask? Since we have some time? Question?
I actually have another question.
Sure.
So, she mentioned like donations
Yes.
from organizations or whoever. I assume private donations and all. Like, how else does MTN get funded then?
Well, we're still contracting with the city,
Okay.
so they pay us some money to do their cable access responsibilities. But with all the cord cutting and stuff, that money comes to Comcast basically, and that's going to shrink over time. So we're trying to
Yeah,
look
the more
for.
people leave cable, the less money we get.
So we're looking for alternative funding, so hopefully one day we can actually be independent should the city ever stop doing cable access. So we're looking at, any kind of grants we can get, partnerships that might help us out.
Donations.
Yeah, if people want to donate to us.
So would like a goal be to get off of cable then and just onto like
Kind of, because
public broadcast?
it's quite possible 10, 15 years from now there won't even be cable.
I was going to say,
We have
Because then anybody could watch it,
Yeah,
right?
no
Like,
idea.
all you need is some funny years.
Well, you can already, if you go on like Facebook or YouTube, you do have channels there where you can watch
Okay,
programming.
sure.
But there it's more like pick what you want to watch rather than schedule.
Right.
and I would say it's not necessarily a goal. of ours. We're just preparing for the fact that it's possible that.
Worried
I just think when I think like public access, like, you know, I mean, you
think
gotta have
public-
money
you
to
think
like
public
pay
does.
for cable.
Right, right.
And yeah,
You know?
it's kind of a deceiving title of it.
Right.
It should be cable access,
Right.
because that's really what it is. It exists so that the public has access to the cable waves.
Yeah, so if you have cable, it's the Comcast, there's that little 4-cent franchise fee you pay, and then they add all that up.
All those 4 cents, they come this way.
But there's fewer and fewer.
But some
There's
of
fewer
that's
and fewer
right.
4 cents,
Some of
yeah.
that.
Right, everyone's using.
We don't get all of that. The city gets majority of that.
Get a half a cent from every 4 cents. Okay.
Take some food with you guys. Yeah.
My name's Mike. I'm sorry. Nice to meet you.
You a board member?
Yes, I'm treasurer.
Oh, you can handle the monies.
We could move into a different room. Or we could just have people leave. It doesn't matter.
I'm kind of curious to just talk to you a little bit more before I so interested in being a board member maybe.
Yeah.
Make sure you understand that process.
I inquired just by email, and then
Yep.
it's like, okay, well, before I go through the process of like brushing up my resume and filling out the form.
I'll get back to that. What's your question?
What, two questions. How do people get active and become part of it?
Okay, well, so,
Specifically for MTN.
We have an
Yeah.
application that, it's a link that I can send to you that you can forward on. But basically, there's an application portal, and then you send that, you fill out that and send your resume in. And then there's a volunteer period. So we don't really have set committees that are doing work, but like we have people come on and do volunteer work with the board to kind of get everybody acclimated to how the organization works and what we're doing. And then once that is complete, or when everybody's ready, there's a vote on from that.
So it could happen at any point.
Could.
There's not
Yeah,
like
it's not a set
It's-
Because I'm
time.
on another board, but it's like it starts in March, it goes for 2 years.
Thank
and
you.
then,
officially in the bylaws.
Your board time is set.
right,
But-
time-wise, but it can
Yes.
start at any point.
I forget Saturday.
Well, in the bylaws officially, there's like a September meeting, and that's like when we officially would add people, but we can also add them any other time in the year as needed.
Okay.
And we kind of need people right now. But,
Yeah, it's hard to get volunteer board members.
Yeah, exactly.
Who
Yeah.
has time for that?
The passion, yes.
but yeah, so we'll
Those
look
parts
for
closed
people.
now?
Huh?
Those parts closed?
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. It will be.
So we're looking for people like maybe work a few months, because that gets you familiar with us, and then
Right.
and make sure that people aren't just coming out with some kind of mercenary agenda. You know, if they actually want to help MTN, that's why they're here. And that could be anywhere from like a few months to 6 months. It'll just depend on how things go.
And I think everybody has their own special gifts to bring.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I feel like I end up getting more from MTN than MTN ever gets from me.
Yeah. Well, and I have no experience. I mean, I haven't had a cell phone since October of this last year. Like that's so like I still, take pictures when I need to
Yeah.
take a video and
And you can certainly learn.
just
all this.
learned the selfie button the other day. Like, so I don't know anything from that end, but I do have a lot of nonprofit experience. 13 years, so I know.
Account experience, lawyer, just dealing with the public,
Yeah.
public relations, so it's all fundraising.
Fundraising, I've done a lot of that.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
We're trying to
Free speech.
Yeah, so you don't need to be all things to all
Creativity.
people.
Helping the communities.
So we feel informed, I guess is the word.
Yeah. How long do the board meetings usually last then?
They can last anywhere from like this to like an hour, not usually much
That's
more.
not
than
too
an hour.
bad. And
Not more than
it's
that.
generally once a month.
Yes.
Yes.
We try to do the second Monday of every month.
I think it'd be interesting if it's just an odd idea, just throwing it out there. If next season, when Dr. Brenna has her DeRozan Action fundraiser, there's over 400 people that show up from multiple companies. Like 3M,
It's a big deal.
Medtronic, Wells Fargo, Marsden, they're all big donors of the DeRozan Action program this year. It'd be interesting if MTN would provide the video for you.
That's the kind of ideas you're looking for.
Because then the public would know also. I mean, everybody that gets in that room, it's a huge event, and every year they've gotten better and better. They throw a tag on to MTN.
When did she come in for, was she working at do something like that?
So what happened was that Natalie Lee Johnson, she ran for office. No, she's a co-founder with Dr. Brennan. And so she's always been running her own action program. What happened was when she stepped down, Ms. Gracia stepped up, so she went from finance manager to the program director. So it was her first year to try to get everything. We'll take they wanted to take the high school group here, the middle school group here, and because they had groups in St. Paul, they had groups right here in North Minneapolis, at North High that benefit from learning, challenging their minds, better than what they do. For those of you who know me, my name is Wayne. I work for the Power of People Leadership Institute. So there's Dr. Brennan Price and Dr. Shane Price. I grew up doing video production since I was sixth grade. All the way to the schools that have TV production studios and everyone, elementary to the middle schools, the high schools.
They have way more funding than we do.
Yeah, so I was just gonna say.
We're such a smaller district.
So that kind of sparks another question what you just brought up. In terms of like if there is something going on, an event like that, and in terms of like how does that get on MTN? Like would you go film that and then submit it to MTN, or
There's
does like
different ways. There's different
MTN
ways.
itself go out and
Sometimes.
We
Fill it.
don't do a lot of field productions like that anymore. They focused on that a lot more in the past. We do some, and like we'll go do live stream events and that kind of stuff. There's usually some kind of exchange, so it's either money or volunteers or whatever whatever we can work out for that deal. But we contractually can only produce 5% of the content that airs, and so like
okay, so MTN itself can only do 5%. Otherwise, it's got to be
community produced.
Community
Yes.
produced.
So we try to teach people how to do production so they can go do it and turn it in.
So do we then like so you supply like training,
Yeah.
so they learn how to do it, and then equipment as well. Like you can borrow equipment.
If you get trained on it first.
And your
Like
sign
Tuesday,
your life
Yeah,
over
sign life
just in
away.
case you
Don't
drop
just treat it.
Just so
Film something for somebody, you get one production. Teach them to film, and you put it. So fish. All right. Anything else? Nothing.
It'd be a good idea to collaborate with Dr. Brennan.
Yeah, we'll talk to her about that for sure. That's a super good idea.
That'd have to be a film.
Be part of our project or something.
you don't want to film it with your band? No, you said you did
I
that.
could do it on my own time.
I might be able to take pictures.
It's probably a better camera.
I filmed a couple concerts. I was surprised at how well the quality.
No, dude, phones have such amazing cameras in them.
Yeah.
We have gimbals if you want to take it.
Well, I hooked it up to the, I don't want to say the wrong name,
The Sling Studio.
it's like, I was going to make something evil really young. Yeah, the Mevo and the Memo
That's
Memo
how,
Live.
is that how you did the Sister of 50? This night?
These were Sling
It's
Studio.
like, yeah.
They did hook the camera, the phone to it.
Yeah, they're slick.
Worked pretty well.
All right. I think that should conclude our public portion. Do we need to adjourn that officially?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have a motion to adjourn the public meeting? Do you have a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor of adjourning? Say aye.
Aye.
All right. For attending?
Thank you for letting me sit in
Oh, stop recording.
Thank you.
and for the